Welcome to New Day Cleveland. I'm Natalie Herbeck.
And I'm David Moss.
And today we are spending the entire hour right here at Playhouse Square, and that can only mean one thing.
That's right, the 2018-2019 KeyBank Broadway Series season on sale show. And today at 11 o'clock, tickets will be available for the hottest shows coming to Cleveland.
That is so true. And over the next hour, we are going to take an in-depth look at each of those 7 shows. Plus, we're going to give you some insider tips to help you plan your visit right here to Playhouse Square.
And part of your planning might include dinner at District. We'll stop by there to sample the menu. So let's get the show started.
Let's do it, shall we? First up, a show that has earned 4 Tony Awards, including Best Revival of a Musical. Here's Hello, Dolly.
Hello, Dolly is such a grand production, and it has been that way historically since it first opened in 1964 on Broadway. It's the story of Dolly Gallagher Levi, who is the meddling matchmaker, always trying to connect other people for love, but in fact she's looking for love herself. So we get to have that taste of a very fun and engaging love story. But the way it's put on stage with this particular production, with this tour, of course it won the Tony Award for Best Revival in 2017. Well, what you're going to see on stage is this lavish, beautiful, highly ornate set and costumes. And the costumes designed by Santelacquasto, and the set, by the way, as well. But he won the Tony for these costumes. So they're wonderful, they're lavish, they're period costumes of the time. And it really speaks to the grandness of Broadway in a way that few shows do. Well, here's one of the great things about Hello, Dolly. Only the greatest dames have ever put on that headdress. From the very first time with Carol Channing in 1964 to Betty Buckley, who is going to be here in Cleveland. As a matter of fact, I don't know if she has ever gone on tour. She's the grande dame of Broadway and is going to be right here at the Conner Palace Theater to kick off the national tour of Hello, Dolly. What a spectacular way to open the KeyBank Broadway season. This is a must-stop for any Broadway tour. What's particularly special about Hello, Dolly is that we're launching the national tour. And what that means is that the designers are here, the creators are here, the producers are here, and the national focus is on Cleveland, because what happens in Cleveland will actually set the pace for the rest of the nation. It's a wonderful way for us to just wrap our arms around this cast, the crew, and that creative team who put this together.
Okay, here's a great idea. Before you catch a show at Playhouse Square, why not grab a bite to eat? I found a great place with an imaginative menu. Well, Eric, I call this the show before the show. This is something. We're at District, which is right on the corner of Playhouse Square there. I got a great shot of the chandelier from here.
I know, it looks great from here, doesn't it?
It looks great. So you guys have been here 5 years.
5 years, yeah.
5 years, and this is the place where everyone goes before the show, if they're lucky enough to get a table.
If they can get a table, right? Now we want them to come in. It's great for right before the show.
Yeah. So I was looking at your book up there, and it looks like you're booked tonight. You're booked next week. You're booked the week after that.
If there's a show, we like them to call early. We want to get everybody a table that wants to come here. We are happy to have them and happy to be a part of it.
And it's not just because of where we are; it's the food you serve here. I've seen some beautiful stuff here. And
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we had a great time. The tuna here. This tuna looks extraordinary. It's almost see-through tuna.
Absolutely, yeah. We were just talking about that. I think the tuna it's a great quality tuna. We pride ourselves on using really high quality items. We make everything from scratch, and they sear this every day, to order here. Mm-hmm. And it is a sushi grade tuna, so you can eat it rare like that.
And you use the word sushi, so we have to tell people what kind of restaurant it is. And it's sort of like a new upscale, new day kind of American bistro, right?
Absolutely, yeah. We're definitely that kind of twist on a American brasserie or American bistro. Mm-hmm. Like to have enough things on the menu where everybody would feel comfortable. If you're a steak person or a pasta, if you like seafood, or just a great chicken dish. Yeah. We have a little bit of everything.
Something for everyone.
Something for everyone. Absolutely.
Talk about seafood. What's this one over here?
So that's our mango barramundi. Barramundi, just like that. Barramundi is an Australian sea bass. Really great dish that's served over our habanero pineapple risotto with a mango coulis, and there's a mango salsa on the top as well.
That looks terrific. And this one's for me because I'm watching my waistline, right?
That's me too. It takes a lot of work to have all
2
that.
more salads, please.
So forget this. We'll just have the salad. Yeah, this is our Greek salad. Again, fresh, local ingredients. Our feta cheese is from Middlefield, so we do, try to do local as much as we can.
When I walked in the door, I saw the pillar, the column of fine wine.
Column of fine wine, yes.
And I saw some wines up there that you don't see everywhere.
Right.
And it like Paradox. Like Paradox is one of the things we did the show New Day Cleveland. We went out to Napa. We went there and we saw.
Jealous
the
of
wine.
that.
Yeah. But you don't find it anywhere. But I found it here.
Right. And so like my theory is definitely I like to sell wine. I like to talk to people about wine. I like to let our guests kind of experience some wines that perhaps they haven't had before.
Right.
Same thing with our Meadowcroft wine here. It's a small winery out of California.
That's a beauty.
And it's a great quality wine. You don't see a lot of places, and we carry a lot of their brands.
Yeah, so it's an extensive venue. You come to District, and it's just a half a block from the front of the theaters.
Absolutely.
And when you go to the theater, you could see the name of the show, and sometimes you know who's in the show. But when you come to District, you know Eric's the star of the show here, right?
That's right. I'm here. Well, my staff really is the star. They're great, and my chef is incredible.
Yeah.
He's been with us since day one. He's just a great guy and does some amazing food.
And if you're not coming to a show and you just want to come for some lunch or dinner, this is the spot also.
Absolutely. We're open 7 days a week. We're open 5 days a week, Monday through Friday for lunch, and then 7 days a week for dinner.
But I think it's a good idea to call because District does get booked up.
We fill up pretty fast. We only have about 100 seats, and when we're doing a show over there that's 3,000, well, 100 of them are coming here for dinner.
And you know why it gets booked up? Because it's good. It's great.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Star of the show.
That's
Thanks,
it.
man.
It's a pleasure.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Welcome back here to our 2018-2019 KeyBank Broadway Series Season on Sale show.
And this next show has been dazzling audiences for years. Don't miss your chance to see Les Miserables.
Well, perfectly timed, right? November is the time when families come together, and we have the world's most loved musical here at the Connor Palace, Les Miserables. It's the story, of course, it's based on Victor Hugo's 1862 novel, and it's the story about Jean Valjean. He's the French peasant who is imprisoned for stealing a loaf of bread, of all things, and Jean Valjean is pursued by the relentless Javert, who's really focused on trying to throw him back in prison. But you really get the feeling of his passion, his repentance, and how he becomes such a leader in society. And we just have audiences begging for the return of Les Mis, and we're so excited it's going to be here at Playhouse Square. So this is actually considered the masterpiece of the composers Claude Michel Schoenberg and Alain Boublil. Les Mis there's nothing like it. It has been running around the world for decades. Audiences love it, and the way that it keeps coming back to us, it comes back to us actually in a better form every time, because the creative team still has a chance. There's always something to discover in these musicals, no matter how long they've been around. And so this is a chance for the creators to sort of dig back into the musical and tell their story in a new, imagined way. What you can expect is a full evening of music. It is a mostly sung evening. It has soaring ballads, it has impassioned stories and lyrics, and the forces of good and evil are constantly at work. It's the good and evil within all of us, and perhaps that's our connection to it, is that, here is this man imprisoned for stealing a loaf of bread, what seems like the most innocent thing one might do, right? And then he's in prison. And then it's the force that he fights within himself, right? And how symbolic that it's bread being the staff of life, right, for all of us. And so within him is his own struggle to make good in his life, to do good in his life, the loves that exist in his life. And there is always the nemesis, which exists in all of us, who's trying to take him back, who's trying to take him down. And so you can live that struggle and live his triumph through this wonderful musical. I can't wait for audiences to come back to Playhouse Square in November, that time when you're together with families, and enjoy the most loved musical in the world, Les Miserables.
At Playhouse Square, theater really is for everyone, even the kiddos. And I got the chance to learn more about the Children's Theater series. Here's a look. Well, we know there are a lot of great performances hitting the stage this year at Playhouse Square. Some of them are for the little ones, and I'm talking about the Children's Theater Series, and someone who knows all about that is Daniel Hahn. Daniel, you put so much into making sure these performances are spectacular for local children.
Well, it's just so important. I mean, Playhouse Square is a not-for-profit, and giving back to the community when we serve our families and children, nothing is more important in this community.
So for those who might not know a lot about the Children's Theater Series, I'll let you first explain it.
Well, sure. Well, what we do is we pick a series of 4 shows that families can actually subscribe to on Saturday and Sunday performances, really geared for those 4 to 8-year-old audiences, to introduce many for the very first time to live professional theater.
They start in October. The first one starts in October.
Late October. We bring The Ugly Duckling, which is based on the classic Hans Christian Andersen tale, the beloved duckling that turns into a gorgeous swan. This one is presented by Light Wire Theater Company, which used that magical electroluminescent wire that you turn off the lights in the theater and all you see is the glowing of that wire, and you don't even see the actors. It's just they can do anything on stage. They can appear, disappear, float through space like magic. It's a wonderful way to introduce theater to young audiences.
So, and that's great because that's happening in the fall. Then as we hit the colder months in January, you have another one coming in.
We do. We have that wonderful children's book, The Rainbow Fish, which has been adapted by Mermaid Theatre of Nova Scotia. And this is the very first time they've adapted this book. This play hasn't ever been seen before. This will be a debut for us here in Cleveland. No one has seen this in this community before.
Wow.
And it's that great story of the wonderful fish with the gorgeous scales that learns that by sharing his most prized possessions, he can really find happiness for himself and others.
That sounds like a spectacular show.
It's
and
beautiful.
Then moving on, there's still 2 more.
There are. We go to Emily Brown and the Thing, which is based on another book that I actually hadn't read. This is one of the shows I saw that was the star performance of the series when we saw it. It's about Emily Brown and her little cuddly rabbit, and they go on an adventure when they hear a thing crying outside the bedroom window, and they go and help the thing calm himself and get to bed calmly at the end of the night. This is the same company that did the Gruffalo for us from the United Kingdom last year. It was one of the hits of the season. We're thrilled to bring it to Cleveland.
So this is sure to be a hit too. And then last but not least,
Junie B. Jones. Now, if you had kids who read these books like my daughters did, this is a show that can't be missed. It takes 4 of those Barbara Park novels, combines them into one narrative story where Junie goes on this incredible adventure. She's getting glasses, she's writing in her top secret personal beeswax journal, and it's told with music, so it's almost like a musical introduction for children too.
It's very important for children, I feel, to get involved in live theater and to get involved in such a young age. And I'm sure you know that better than anybody else.
Well, you know, you see these kids coming, and sometimes maybe their only exposure to anything even remotely like this is going to see a movie. When they're in the room with other people and they're seeing the live actors up on stage, especially a show like Lightwire, they'll do a talk back after the show for a few minutes, take off the costumes and reveal how the magic is done. It really opens up the world of live theater to these children in a way that is just deeply, deeply engaging.
And as you mentioned, they could end up being the future stars on these same stages. Daniel, thank you so much.
Thanks, Natalie.
We'll be back with much more from our Season on Sale show.
Welcome back to the 2018-2019 KeyBank Broadway Series season on sale now.
Yes, it is a show that you will never forget. The beautiful story of a doomed romance set during the Vietnam War. Prepare to fall in love with Miss Saigon.
Say, can you see? Land of the free. Sure can. Soon you will buy it from me.
So there's this wonderful love story that is framed within the harsh realities of what life in Saigon was like in the 1970s. It's about loss, it's about abandonment, it's about triumph and joy and love. And I feel that this story of Miss Saigon doesn't put the set and costumes at the centerpiece. It digs right into that score and right into that story and tells it in a way that you have such a deep understanding of that personal intimacy, that connection that occurred between those two people and their struggle to find love in such a war-torn time in our world. It's composed by Claude Michel Schoenberg and Alain Boublil, and it tells the story, this wonderful, passionate story about Kim, a young Vietnamese woman who falls in love with the American soldier Chris. It's set during the Vietnam era in the 1970s, and you just have like these feelings of how impassioned it is, how moments are flashing by, how they're wanting to glean every moment they can to possibly be together, because clearly the world's not on their side. It is timeless in many ways because it tells the story of forbidden love, in a way. You know, an American soldier and this young Vietnamese woman. Who's going to give up their world? Who, you know, it's not the story of the white picket fence. It's the story that there is going to be supreme sacrifice, you know, on someone's shoulders. And it is joyful, it's sad, it has redemption. I think it just takes you through such, through the entire color wheel of emotion. And it's told in such a beautiful way. And that's one of the things I love about it so much. You know, the original productions, when they were first out, people would talk about, you know, the scenery, the helicopter, you know, that was a major source of conversation. And with this production of Saigon, people are going out the door going, wow, what a story.
Your evening at Playhouse Square doesn't have to end once the show is over. Why not make a weekend out of it with a stay at the newly renovated Crowne Plaza? Time to meet Tim Meyer, who is the general manager here at the Crowne Plaza at Playhouse Square Hotel.
Good job.
And before I got that in my head, I heard newly renovated.
Yes. Last year we finished a complete renovation of the hotel, spent a little over $6 million. That's
pretty good.
Everything from the elevators, the restaurant, all the guest rooms, all the bedding is new, and we went with a new style that fits the IHG Crowne Plaza style of what they were looking for. So
I was surprised to hear there's a pool here.
there is a pool. A lot
Yeah.
of guests come in and say they didn't know about it. It's kind of hidden away in the basement. It's a great lap pool. It's a heated pool and has a heated jacuzzi and sauna. So great place to kind of get away during the winter months when you want to go for a swim.
Yeah, I'll tell you what else is a great place to hang out here. It's like before theater, after theater, because you guys are open before and after. And I've had some of the best food and appetizers in your restaurant and bar that I've ever had downtown.
Thank you. You're welcome anytime to come visit, but anybody in Cleveland could come and visit the restaurant. It's called Ghost Light. It's completely renovated, and we have a new chef. Chef Sean Rupp joined us about 2 months ago, and we're working on a lot of new menu items. It's a great hidden spot to come in. You can overlook the chandelier area of the plaza, the theater, and then go to the theater for the night.
No, it's great too. I met some really fun people, like people that were visiting from out of town, talking about how much they love Playhouse Square and the downtown area. So this is a great spot to come to sort of like start your journey into the downtown area.
It really is. A lot of people come into the area and go to the casino and things, but this is a little bit away, kind of get you out of
Yeah.
the crowds of the market area there, and it puts you in the center of the theater district, which is a lot of fun.
Don't tell anyone, but I think I saw some cast members from Playhouse Square in this hotel.
Well, we have a lot of them. I can't tell you who, but we get a
Little
lot of them in
autograph
the
seekers
hotel.
out here?
No. We keep it quiet.
Yeah.
It's what we do in the hotel business.
Yeah,
so
terrific.
We get a lot of the theater crowd here that's here for the events also.
I talk to a lot of people who wish they could do some of the things they hear about downtown, but they live like an hour away or something like that. And they're always like, well, I come downtown, then I have to drive home. But if you come downtown to do things, you don't have to drive home, do you?
No, you don't. Stay at the hotel. We offer a lot of packages, that date night packages, entertainment packages for the theater. We also have a lot of specials that are running throughout the year in the winter months. So, you know, there's a lot of concern about driving into the city sometimes, but don't deal with the traffic. Spend the night, enjoy the city, and go to the theater. Enjoy a lot of great restaurants, whether it's ours at Ghostlight or one of the areas also.
Yeah, and it's just a fabulous setting too. I mean, you come in here, you see the big chandelier in the middle of the street, and
You know, if
the
you-
theaters, the marquees.
I just left New York, where I was in the middle of the theater district there, and it's congested. So you get all of the feeling of New York in Cleveland. We have a great light system out there. It looks a lot like Broadway.
Yeah, and not to sell 4th Street and all the other places downtown, but that's just a short little walk away. I remember when I was here having a great time with a cocktail and some appetizers, some folks were asking, well, where should we go? You know, the theater was over. I said, walk down to 4th Street or walk down over here to the what's the big German place with the beer and all that?
Oh, the Hofbrauhaus, right around the corner. That's a block and a half away. We're 2 blocks away from East 4th, but you can get to 9th and get into Ohio City relatively easy also.
Yeah, you could Uber your way or taxi your way. And you say there's some special rates also for people who want to do the weekend trip.
Absolutely. On our website, we have a lot of specials that we offer for locals that I think that enjoy, tied to the theater district and the theater events.
So now you know Tim, the general manager. There's no reason not to come down, check out the place.
Absolutely. Look forward to having you with us.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Come back anytime.
More
Thank
after
you.
the break. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Can you feel the excitement? We are back here with the 2018-2019 KeyBank Broadway Series Season on Sale show.
That's right. If you like the hilarious movie, you'll love the new musical featuring 14 new songs from Andrew Lloyd Webber. Here's School of Rock.
Now repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the band.
I pledge allegiance to the
And I
band.
promise to give Mr. Shebley full command.
So here's Andrew Lloyd Webber, the man who has given us Phantom of the Opera and so many musicals, that he has this electrified sound. And actually, we learned that's where he actually started, right? Jesus Christ Superstar was Andrew Lloyd Webber's first breakthrough, and it was the first electric vibe that came from the orchestra pit in a Broadway theater. So he really kind of returns to what his roots are with School of Rock, with this electrifying, jumping musical that is this hilarious story based on the 2003 film about Dewey Finn. Dewey Finn is this gone wrong musician who is desperate for a job. He impersonates his roommate, Ned, and lands a job as a music teacher in a private school. And what you see is how he becomes something that he didn't know was within him. You know, he's like this egocentric, only the world lives for me kind of guy, and suddenly he meets these kids who are from upper class families, but whose parents seem to be preoccupied with other things in life other than their children. And he figures out how he's going to help these kids rock it out, literally, not only on stage, but in their life with their parents. So he is engaged with them in a particular way that literally just makes the building jump. What's wonderful about this particular tour is that there really are 4th graders, 5th graders, and 6th graders playing. There really are kids playing these roles. Families love to see children on stage. Kids love to see themselves on stage. You can't fake that kind of enthusiasm and that kind of talent, either from the ones on stage in the cast or the kids in the audience watching it, because finally, you know, here they are. This could be me, possibly. We see that same kind of enthusiasm with our own Dazzle Awards that's here in the spring. And when you give your audience a chance to be on stage, when you give youth a chance to be on stage, it puts an energy into these walls and into the marrow of your bones that you absolutely can't fake. It's real. It's watching kids actually live the dream. So it will be tremendous fun when School of Rock comes here. It's hilarious, it's fun, and it's got the best vibe going.
Well, this next show is sure to be a crowd pleaser. It's an unforgettable story of family and loyalty. Here's a closer look at A Bronx Tale.
It's 3 a.m. in the Bronx, New York. I'm on the corner of 187th and Belmont Avenue. This was my neighborhood. This is A Bronx Tale.
A Bronx Tale is a real life story. And I hear so many people, especially men, say that it's their favorite movie ever, of all times. It's Chaz Palminteri's story about life in the Bronx in the 1960s. This real life event occurred when he was 9 years old, sitting on the stoop of his home and witnessed a murder. And what happened was the police came and he chose to not rat on the fellow who was the perpetrator. The fellow's name was Sonny, and it's an Italian neighborhood, a transitioning Italian neighborhood, and Chaz saw him, see him, everyone knew what was going on, and he became Sonny's boy. And then the story is really about the two worlds that Chaz is living in. His father, Lorenzo, is driving a bus and is trying to keep value in his son's life. And here's Sonny, the silk tie wearing mobster, also trying to play a role in his life. And so he is caught between these two worlds. It's a wonderful story and a great musical. The music is by Alan Menken, whose stories we have seen here for a long time. Aladdin, most recently, Beauty and the Beast. So he has written the score that is really period music of the 60s, and you hear about how Chad grew up and about his life with his friends. He fell in love, a true story, with an African-American girl as a teenager, and again the conflict of forbidden love and what that meant. And I can't wait for audiences to see A Bronx Tale. It resonates with people in such a particular way because here is Chaz Palminteri, who was surrounded by criminal influence. It's like a landmine, right, to not step on. And he not only managed to not step on the landmines, but to get beyond the neighborhood and have a really great career as an actor, both on stage and on the screen. Chaz actually loves Cleveland. He's been here twice. He was here when we announced our season. He came back this summer when we showed the film. That's how important this is to him, and it's important to us. So it's a great musical. We can't wait for audiences to see this. It'll be here in the spring.
Stick around, we have much more New Day Cleveland after this short break. Welcome back here to Playhouse Square and the 2018-2019 KeyBank Broadway Series Season on Sale show.
Okay, winner of 6 Tony Awards, including Best Musical. People are buzzing about this deeply personal show. It's called Dear Evan Hansen.
Well, definitely the buzz in New York is Dear Evan Hansen. You know, it's the story of this young fellow named Evan Hansen. He's a teenager. He is feeling like a misfit, you know, trying to figure out how to connect to his family or his friends or the world around him, as teenagers do, right? And so he writes a letter to himself that begins, Dear Evan Hansen, and in it he writes down everything of his qualities that he likes the most, thinking that will give him confidence. Well, that letter winds up in the hands of another young boy who dies tragically, and his parents find this letter, and they read it and then wrongly assume that their son was the author, writing to his best friend, Evan Hansen, about everything he liked about them. So then they go to Evan Hansen with this letter. So here's this young fellow trying to figure out how to connect. So he then assumes that persona. He pretends to actually be the best friend, even though they weren't friends. And he lives it out that way. And so this is really a story about teenage life and how social media and everything just bombards these kids, our kids, right? And its impact on them. You should bring your teenagers to this, absolutely, because boy, if there's ever a door opener for a conversation about right and wrong and what should be in your life and what shouldn't, and when do you turn it off? You know, when do you turn it off and go to bed? Because it's accessible 24/7. And so for parents to be able to have those conversations with their children, a family conversation about, wow, what worked for you? Where did he go wrong? Where was he right? How did the parents get involved? I think it's a rich, rewarding night at the theater and equally rewarding in the drive home.
You will be fine.
Well, I'm sure you're excited about our season on sale show, and you got the tickets ready, that's for sure. Well, there are a few other things that you might need to consider when planning your visit here, and we have a closer look.
I am really excited about this because there are things we need to think about, and of course, the first thought on my mind is, where do I eat before I go and see a show? And you have quite a few options for us.
We have quite a few options. So whether you're looking for a big meal or just some small bites, or Mexican, Italian, German, American cuisine, burgers, sushi, yes,
I know they have that
sushi,
too. That's my go-to.
We have it all here in the Playhouse Square District for you. We do have a dining section on our website, so you can go and see all the options that are here in the district for you, choose where you'd like to go, and then call to make a reservation.
And I know that you want to get some prime parking spots too, and that's absolutely something that when you get down here, you first think, what's the best place to park so I can get in and get out the quickest? So what would be your tip for parking?
So my tip for parking is, number one, don't panic, because there is plenty of parking in the Playhouse Square District. Number two, we do have the Playhouse Square parking garage. You can buy parking in advance for that through our website. Even when you're purchasing tickets, you can add them usually to your cart so that you know you have your parking secure. But there are other options. There are other parking garages, other surface lots, and we also have valet service. So plenty of parking options for you when you get here.
Depending on what you want to do. On top of that, I know that you really tried to make this and all the shows, Playhouse Square, accessible to everyone who wants to come.
So we offer wheelchair assistance, we offer large print programs, we offer hearing assistance devices. We also, partnering with the Cleveland Hearing and Sight Center, we offer interpretive services that you can schedule in advance. So again, if you are someone or if you know someone who may need accessibility services, you can check out our website or give us a call before you plan your visit down here so that we can make sure that you are taken care of and comfortable and get to enjoy the show.
Love that. And what about, speaking of comfortable, what about what to wear to the theater?
Yes, what to wear to the theater. It's a question we get asked very often. We want you to be comfortable. Most people tend to wear, for gentlemen, they tend to wear slacks with maybe a button-down shirt, but we see everything from jeans to suits. And then for the ladies, we see, usually ladies are in casual dresses or slacks and a blouse, but again, we see everything from jeans to more formal dresses. The most important thing is that you're here.
Yes.
These are nearly 100-year-old theaters, so I do recommend bringing a sweater or a light jacket, maybe dress in layers so that you can kind of adjust to the temperature. And don't forget that if you're seated upstairs, you might want to wear comfortable shoes or shoes that are easy to navigate stairs in.
Good thinking on that one too. What about what people should be leaving at home? Because I know there's things they shouldn't be bringing down.
That's right. So we recommend leaving large purses and backpacks at home. Just bring, what you need.
Be on time too, right? What about timing?
Yes.
When should they arrive?
Yes. So we recommend arriving an hour to 45 minutes before your curtain. The lobby will open usually an hour before curtain, so you can come in, use the restroom, get your refreshments, check out the merchandise, and then the house will open a half an hour before the show starts typically. So you can then get into your seat, get comfortable, take a look at the program. So we really recommend arriving early so that you're not rushing at the last minute, and so that you can get seated, be comfortable, and in your seat before the curtain goes up.
And just enjoy the show. And I know that if they want to find out more information, they can easily go to the website.
Absolutely. We have a whole plan your visit section on the website so you can get all the information, more details than even I've shared today. So check it out at playhousesquare.org.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you, Natalie.
More from our Season on Sales show when we come back.
Welcome back to the 2018-2019 KeyBank Broadway Series on Sale show.
Our final show here is based on the true story of a small town that welcomed the world. This is Come From Away.
So this is the story about what happened on September 11, 2001, when 38 flights were diverted to Gander, Newfoundland. And this is this wonderful story where 7,000 people landed in these planes in a city of 9,000. Their population essentially doubled that day. They took them into their hearts. They took care of them. For 5 days, some of them couldn't get to their luggage. They needed medication, they needed a toothbrush, they needed a change of clothes. And here, these wonderful people in Gander, Newfoundland, when they could finally get off the plane, had set up tables of food in the airport, and they fed them, and they took them into their homes, and they took them to their stores and just opened the stores and said, take what you need. The storytelling, what happened and how this all came about, is the creators of the story were actually working on the 10-year anniversary of 9/11. And so they interviewed all of these people in Gander because they'd heard this story, and they took these thousands of stories and distilled them into 100 minutes. Something that I found when I first saw the musical was I wasn't sure how I was going to feel finding joy in a day that seemed so tragic. It actually is just a reminder that it's okay. We'll be okay. There are really good people out here. Most of us are. And here's a way to celebrate the humanity, the generosity, the need to take care of each other that really is inside all of us.
Here's something else really exciting. For the past 3 years now, Playhouse Square has recognized outstanding high school students at the Dazzle Awards. Well, I had the chance to chat with this year's Best Actor recipient.
Well, here is someone who is absolutely no stranger to Playhouse Square, J.R. Heckman, who has now won the John and Patricia Chapman Best Actor Award 2 times in 3 years of the Dazzle Awards. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
So this year, you won with a very different role from your first. This is Archibald Craven.
Yes.
From The Secret Garden.
Yes.
What was that like for you? I'm sure you were just stunned because you've won it once. You thought, there's no way I'm going to win it again.
Yeah. Well, it was very, very touching, and I am so grateful that I was chosen again as Best Actor. And it really meant so much to me because the last time I won for Donkey, which was, big and fun and out there, and Archibald is so serious and emotional, and he's distraught because in the story his wife died and she's haunting him, and at the end of the story they come back together, and it's just such a touching and full of singing show. So I was really honored to win again.
So he's had quite an experience, that's for sure, and I want to right now, if it's okay with you, take a look back on this year's trip to the Dazzle Awards and then beyond.
Awesome.
From Solon High School, J.R. Heckman as Archibald Craven in The Secret Garden.
I'm J.R. Heckman. I am a junior and I go to Solon High School. I started theater in 5th grade. I always wanted to try it out. When I would go and see these shows at Playhouse Square and at different local community theaters, I would just be so touched, and I would say to myself, I want to do that.
I've been a lot of places. Yes, I've traveled near and far.
We put on The Secret Garden, and I was Archibald Craven. It's a show about love. It's a show about redemption and rebirth.
She'll grow to love the tender roses, lilies fair, the iris tall.
When you step out on that stage for the first time and the lights are shining right on you and the audience is going nuts, there's no words to describe the feeling and the adrenaline you get. Your heart starts pumping.
The Dazzle Award for Best Actor goes to...
When I heard my name called, I almost started crying. I was speechless. I was humbled. I was so thankful. The Dazzle Awards are one of the most inspiring things that has ever happened to me in my life. The opportunity to perform on such a high-level stage that I've always wanted to do, the Connor Palace stage, it just doesn't happen. I met so many new friends that I keep in touch with that are all into theater, and they're all such amazing actors. It just doesn't happen anywhere else.
It really is so amazing to look back at that video. Do you still have to pinch yourself sometimes?
Oh my gosh, I'm still in shock. I was stunned when I won again. So I was so grateful.
Now, it didn't end there for you, because after that, you went on to New York City.
Yep.
For the Jimmies.
Yep.
So what were the Jimmies like? For those who don't know what it is, maybe I'll let you explain it a little bit.
Sure. So the Jimmies are the National High School Musical Theater Awards, where there is 40 programs, just like the Dazzles, across the country that come together and they choose a Best Actor and a Best Actress.
You were one of the top finalists there.
I was.
For the male category.
Yes, I was one of the 4 male finalists.
That is unbelievable. So you had a chance to sing solo.
Yes.
Because of this on Broadway, on a New York City Broadway stage.
Yep. It was just amazing. When they called my name, I was just so happy and so excited, because all of my hard work had really, really come to that moment. So I was just so excited.
Well, I know, again, he's just heading into a senior year, but I know big things are headed your way. I'm so happy for you.
Thank you so much.
We'll probably be seeing you back here again on the Dazzle Awards stage this year. Fingers
Hopefully,
crossed.
fingers crossed.
And hey, someone else who I know you know very well, Raina.
Yep.
Who won the John and Patricia Chapman Best Actress Award for her second year.
Yes.
Couldn't be with us today because she is now at Baldwin Wallace and pursuing her dream. But I know she had a wonderful road to this year's Dazzle Awards too. So let's take a look back at her journey as well.
Awesome.
The Dazzle Award for the Best Actress goes to Raina Moran.
My name is Raina Moran, and I am the 2018 John and Patricia Chapman Best Actress. I started dancing when I was 3 years old, but I never really got into musicals until I was in middle school, and it wasn't up until I was about 14 where I realized it was something I could take seriously and turn it into a career.
If I could change, if I could grow, I'd walk right through that door and on my way I'd go. But if I'm through, why do I stay?
I always knew that I was going to be singing or going to be on stage or going to be doing something where I could be in front of people, making people laugh, making people feel. I felt like I was born to do that. It was always very natural for me.
From Akron School for the Arts at Firestone CLC, Raina Moran as Velma Kelly in Chicago.
So Velma Kelly, as much as her and I are different character-wise, there are some things that were similar. Like, I would say we both know what we want, and we both know how to try and get it.
Yelling, screaming, begging for more, but I simply cannot do it alone.
The Dazzle Awards, it's definitely made me feel a lot of comfort seeing that there's such a large community so close to me with so many people who love what I love, who support it, and are always going to be in your corner. In that moment when I heard my name, it was just a complete high almost. I was just so surprised.
I am so in shock right now. Just thank you so much for giving me another opportunity to represent us in New York City.
You never think that something that, like an award that prestigious could be handed to you 2 times in a row.
There you have it. The 2018-2019 Key Bank Broadway series is just weeks away from kicking off at Playhouse Square.
But now is your time to purchase those tickets for all 7 shows. Do not miss the chance to see some of the most buzz about Broadway shows right here in Northeast Ohio.
Really exciting stuff. And for information, including where to park, restaurant suggestions, and how to purchase tickets, simply log on to playhousesquare.org. I'm David Moss.
I'm Natalie Herbeck.
And we'll see you on the next
New Day Cleveland.
So later.